such a dramatic intro, and then it's just me going, hey, welcome back. Wednesday. All right, let's get right to it. It's going to make a lot of sense to throw in this little brick colored building first. That's what's going to happen. Because once I get that building in, then I can kind of squirrel around the other ones. Let's do this, which I keep saying don't do because it's bad. Putting a cutting mat on your painting. No, not really. I was kind of hoping that was going to be the same brick color, but it's not. It's fine. Everything's good. Beautiful brick. Anything else that color? Probably not, right? That would be too easy. Yeah, it's the only building in the area that's that color. Can I use this template for other stuff though? Maybe. Like, let's grab the top of this roof, that little dark detail. Because again, when I spray this with the brick color, I can just lightly hit that. Just again, it acts as a guide. Like, it's like, okay, this is where that little thing is. It's going to be black in the end anyway. So if I spray it in like a brick color, it's not going to matter because I'm going to cover it. So again, think more of a guide than a template. That's what you want to do. I say that, but you can do whatever you want. All right, what else can I grab? Since I will be reasonably far away from this, so I can use like the black. Actually, that's not reasonably far away. Don't do that. But this little spot between these buildings is a good one. It's far enough away from the gray. I mean the brick color. Let's see what we got going on there. There we go. That's super dark in there too. Again, I don't know what's going on there, if it's a building or if it's what, or if it's shadow or what, but it's dark. So I'm just going to try not to figure it out. I can't even see it on my reference. It's just dark right in there. So I'm going to just pull the whole thing and we'll figure it out after. I probably, again, take 2 seconds to move this and look. I probably already have this in, but that's okay because I can refine all the edges on this cutout. Yeah, I guarantee I have this already, but that's fine. Yeah, good. I think I've already got that. All right, good. Let's see what we got. Yep, I sure do already have it. That's fine though. Everything's good. Everything's good. So we line this up. We're looking for that building there. And because I have other cutouts, I can again line it up so that I can make sure I'm in the right spot. That's lovely. That's good. Ooh, that's exceptional. Okay, good. That was a good lineup. Magnets. We need magnets. There we go. Good. All right, so I got 2 things to do here. I've already got all that cut out, so I don't have to really respray that. Even that little guy right there I already have. So I'm in good shape. Really, it's just the brick one and then the top. So since I have the black still hooked up, just going to give this another pass. And I have the black in the brush, so I'm just going to do whatever this rectangle is on the top, and then I don't have to worry about it. It's all done. Like that. So now the rest of it is brick, that brick color, but it's a deeper brick color. It's not crazy brick, but... Do I have anything like that on the palette? Should make life easy. I kind of do. So we're going to grab some, this is again 4050, 4011 mixed together to give me like kind of a clear paint is what I use it as, like a carrier. And it's also a reducer too. So up here, this is a great brick color. It's pretty much dried out, but again, I don't need a whole bunch of it. just need to change the overall feel of that. It's looking very pink, but it's looking pink because I also have it in the 4011. And I didn't want to really mix with that brush anyway. Let's pull this, get some more of this red. Ah, that's lovely. That's better. Yep, good. Brick. House. So again, this is super transparent and really thin. So I want to go over this multiple times to get this to the, you know, the saturation that I want. Patience, grasshopper, you know what I mean? That's how it works for me. Could I mix this color up? You know, go to the photograph, match it up, and then mix it up, and then just spray it one shot, full saturation? Absolutely. But I have more fun just kind of pushing it around a little bit. Yay, awesome. Again, just like the green building from last week, that's a lot brighter than it should be, but it doesn't matter because there's going to be that, you know, that same shading, airbrushing going on. All right, now let's, we're going to finish, what time is it? We've only been going for about 7 minutes. I'm just thinking, I want to get to that corner. I don't know that I can. There's a bunch of buildings between here and there. And I don't want to rush it. Again, I don't want to rush it. I want to get done what needs to get done, but also psychologically, there's that, yay, we made it kind of thing. And that's just one corner, you know? Well, the only way to do that is to shut up and paint. All right, let's get some of the rest of the stuff going on here so we know where we're going. How is your Wednesday, everyone? I forgot to ask. Hope it's going good. It's going good here. Things are rolling. In November, my youngest son gets married, which is exciting. So we're all kind of aimed towards that right now, which is great. My adorable little grandson is like growing like a weed, which is a lot of fun too. So it's been a good year. It's been a good year this year. My oldest son and his beautiful wife got their own place, which is great. So they are enjoying their first year just kind of as a married couple, which is amazing. They got a great little place. They got a great place. And yeah, it's good to see them thriving. All three of them, all three of my kids. And my 3 extended kids. It's great. All right, white. Oh, and I using the old junky white, and I pulled out new white last week. Yay. All right, here we go. Oh, that works so much better. Good, 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 good. That's gray, so I don't want to, I wanted to hit it again because it's kind of mottled, but it's gray anyway, so I don't want to go nuts with that. I don't want to make it crazy. Now there's a really, I'm going to put this in white in here, but it's not white. It's not going to stay white. It's going to be gray in the end, but I want to, it's super thin. It's like those street lines over, you can just barely see them right here. Same kind of deal with this. So I'm going to put it in white, let it dry, and then just shave it down and you know, make it look like it should. It's a little bit of some details in here too of something else going on. And there's another, oops, that was too much. A little white something or other. All right, so there's that. This building here has just the edge of the windows in the corner of the building. I'm going to have to hit this with, since I'm at the corner here now, once I get this kind of locked up, I am going to hit this again with the Autoborn sealer, just to keep all this stuff looking okay in the corner, because again, corners and edges take a beating while I'm working on a painting, and I don't want to have to keep repainting stuff, you know what I mean? There we go. That goes there. This building, I don't have the roof. I'm glad I put in that little black rectangle, because I didn't have the back of this roof painted in when I blocked it in originally. I just cut out the front, so this is good. It gives me the back to kind of tell where everything is. There's a building here which I'm not going to do because I got to cut it out. The street is there too, so lovely. Oops, that was a mistake, but we'll clean that up after. There's no windows on the side, which is even better. We're going to make it to the edge. Yeah, because we still have 20 minutes. This is great. All right, let's get some of the darker details done in here. Shore things up a bit. Start with a medium gray. This is actually a little bit more dark than medium, but start with this one to kind of start fleshing. Yeah, that's perfect. Start fleshing out some of these edges and buildings in here. Again, I just want to kind of get the feel for where these little buildings are, and then I can adjust them and airbrush them. Do all that fun stuff. Is this dark enough to do this? Yeah. So same deal here, that little white 90-degree angle line, it's not there, is a lot thinner, so I'm just going to use this darker gray color to shave that down to what it really should be. And at the very end, I'll wash over it. All right, my little, let's use black while that's drying. Put the windows into that little tan building, which I still don't like the color of that. I'm gonna repaint this little guy right here, this little tan building we did last week that I used the garbage paint on. I shouldn't say garbage paint, the paint that was dried out. It's certainly not garbage paint. It's just dried out. So I'm gonna grab some, that's Createx brown. That's way too much white, but that's okay. Move it over here and try it again. Yeah, so I'm looking at this and it's feeling a little fleshy. Not enough tan. Golden yellow work? Well, this golden yellow is junk too. But it does work, so we'll go with it. That's better. It's a much better color, and it's nice and smooth. The golden yellow is pretty much at the end of its life, but that brown was brand new, so the golden yellow just really tinted it. So now I'm going to take this tan. It's a lot lighter than it should be, but it's also thinner than it should be as well. So that way I'll use it kind of like a wash over this, because I think I put some airbrushing on this too, which is okay. I can redo that if I need to, but I just want to level out that brown color a little bit. Yeah, that's better. It's much better. It didn't look good at all. So now I have to let that dry. So there's no windows on the brick building, but there is a little bit of shading on that, or detail on the roof. Let's do that. There we go. Oh, that didn't work. That's going to work. The black was too thin. Yeah, that's better. And then this vertical white line is a little bit too chunky, so it's good there's a little bit of black on that as well on the edge, so I can use the black to do both. So it adds that little shading on the edge there, and it also sharpens up that white line. Now there are windows on this side of the building, so we're going to get some of those in. Yeah. Yeah. Just follow the roof line because I know that's right. And then that fades down into a building that's here, and then there's airbrushing going on all over that. Those little windows there too, they wrap around. Well, I'm telling you this and you can see it, so pardon me for just kind of explaining what's already there. You know, it's obvious, but in case you're just watching the paint and not the reference, you'll know what I'm doing. So those windows wrap around a little bit. That looks good. That's still going to be airbrushed. And I got these lines wrong, these white lines, because I was pushing it. So I'm going to get rid of those. So I need a gray here that matches the background-ish. It's a building, so it doesn't really matter that it's exactly perfect. In fact, it's a gray building, so it's even better. So I'm just going to wipe out those white lines for now. I should have waited. I should have done the brick building, and then I should have done, you know, the rest of this. So it happens. You know, like I said, I get excited. I want to push it. I try to do too much, and then realize that it's not right. Okay, that's good. Well, that's drying. My tan building should be all set now. How are we doing? Again, I don't want to rush it, but I also want to, I would love, love, love to do the typewriter thing by the end of this episode. So next week we just move up and move back across. How I go across doesn't matter at all. Like I'm going to probably just go up on the edge, you know, go up one layer from here and go left to right instead of right to left, which I did before. There is no rhyme or reason to that. You know, it's not like one is better than another, except for the fact that if you go left to right, you don't run the risk as much of damaging the painting because, you know, if I go right to left, I have my hand, you know, touching all the stuff I've already done. So if you go the other direction, you know, you don't really have as much a risk of that. So there's that. However, I've got, you know, Autoborn sealer all over this, so that's not as much of a concern. And I'm trying to be really good about, you know, keeping that safe. That is until I, you know, go and put my cutting mat on the painting, which you can all yell at me for that. Shouldn't happen. These two look like they're lined up, but they're two separate buildings. So I'm going to run the windows all the way across. Oh, they're actually a little bit skewed. Okay. But, so they're skewed, so we're going to take care of that now while I'm thinking of it. Grab some darker gray or lighter gray. Oh, that's pretty dark though. It's okay. Add the separation between those buildings. Comes right down to the corner of that one. That's good. I don't even know if, I mean, that's almost too small to see. So I'm going to leave it. How are we doing over here? We need another coat on that now. Good. Get this all out. And again, this is a little bit lighter than what I used before, but it doesn't matter. All I'm doing is erasing, you know. I'm going to put all the windows in and stuff on that anyway. Good. How are we looking over here? This line, is this thin enough? Oh, yeah, it is. Okay, so this little 90-degree line that I thinned down, we want to darken that up a little bit, but that's totally dry and my brush is clean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of black here and I'm going to really, same thing as before last week, I'm going to really dump a lot of reducer in that. Come out with almost like a wash. I palette out the brush a little bit to get some of the excess out, and then I'll be able to just kind of go over this thing a few passes and just darken it up. It's a little bit too much paint in the brush. You want kind of a dry brush for this. So it's thin, but it's on the verge of drying. So that way when you put the paint down, it doesn't pool up. That's probably a little bit too thin. There we go. If it's too thin, it'll work, but it'll take forever. You know, you just put that, you know, coat down, it'll just barely change the value of it. Again, if you want to be slow about it and careful, that's great, you know. But if once you get used to it, you'll get the feel for the dryness of the brush, how much paint needs to be on there to get the effect you want. And the only way to really do that is to mess with it, to try and fail. Hopefully you fail, not on your painting, but on a practice sheet or whatever. But that's the way to go. All right, we still have 10 minutes. We're in good shape. I'm thinking that's probably dry now. So with that little building on the side that I had to erase on the edge, that was a classic example of me looking at the tablet and not at the reference photo. So I put those in a lot bigger than they really are. They're really like this. And I have black in the brush now because I've got the building pretty much the color that I need it. So those little verandae are a lot smaller. They're like this. Oh, that kind of went a little long, but that's okay. Clean that up. I can just barely see black on the roof. And then there's that other building behind, which we'll get to. And then what's going on down here? There's that little, whatever that is. It's too small to be a building. Something. Again, you get to the point where you don't try to figure it out. Just paint what you see. So this area is going to be shaded up into this building. This is like in a hollow, like some sort of courtyard here. So this down here is, really where it's deepest black, and then it fades up. So that's good. All right, I think we need to break out a little bit of airbrushing there, and we're in good shape. So that little 90-degree thing right there, I could have hit that with the airbrush too. So it depends on the timing and what I'm doing. It's not, for me, it's not efficient to stop what I'm doing with the paintbrush, load up the airbrush, just hit that real light and then jump back, you know what I mean? So sometimes it's more efficient, since I got the brush, to just do it with the brush. All right, so what do I have to protect? Nothing really in this little brick area. Yeah. So I'm just going to start. I'm going to start at that little black square that I put in. Make sure the airbrush is working first. I have the wrong airbrush. Yay. That was brick color. Here we go. There we go. It's nice when it's the right color. So I'm going to start at that little black square and just start fading up from there. Now the front of this other building, or the face of this other building, also has a lot of darkness in it too, so that's why I didn't have to really block it off this time. Even this weird gray little thing down here, that also has some, yeah, actually all of it does. So I don't really have to worry about it. I just have to worry about fading that brick building up. Now that I've got the fade pretty much where I want it, I do know that brick color needs to be a little bit less intense, so I am going to block the roof off here. Oh, that's awesome. Good. And just because I have it in, I can line this up with the back side of this roof and set up that next building. So obviously I still have to paint that building that's behind it, but throwing a little airbrushing in there doesn't hurt. Same thing with this one here too. I haven't painted this building above it, but if I had a little bit of airbrushing now, it's just going to help set that roof line for those buildings. And again, just like I was talking about before, if I have the airbrush in my hand, I'll try to do a bunch of stuff with the airbrush, because I've already got it out. I don't want to do that building there because that connects, and there's that and that. So I can't do that yet. Feeling good about that. Actually, I want to put a little bit of airbrushing right on this little guy too. I love that. Yay. What's going on right there? Oh, it's green. Okay. We have time. Yeah. Remember, I left this area here because there's a lot going on there. There's all kinds of weirdness. So I do have moss green on here, so we'll use some of that. Any white with that because it's not going to stand up. That's not a good white. That's a good white. Yeah, so moss green is really, really transparent. It's great color, awesome color. But if you're looking to, get something in a certain, like the moss color, you need a base for it. This is violently electric green for what it really is, but we're going to take care of that same thing. This is like the underpainting. This is just kind of putting things in where they sort of are, and then we'll adjust it after. Let that dry a little bit while we work around it. The darkness. So when I hit the big time, big time, and I've talked about this throughout my entire career. For me, hitting the big time would, those, I don't know if you've ever worked at a construction site or, worked in the city, but there are these food trucks that go around, catering trucks, and they have routes, and they do they have certain companies that they go to every time. When I was a kid, I used to work for Vic Firth, the drumstick manufacturer, and they had a food truck that would show up at, I think, 10:30 in the morning, and the food was awesome. I mean, yeah, it's food off a truck, but there was, someone making it in the morning, and it was real food. You could also buy, whatever, chips and soda and whatever. I'm sorry, if you're from the Midwest, you could buy pop, all this stuff, and it's just awesome. Like I said, I had my favorites that I would get all the time, and I'm like, when I make it big, man, I'm going to have a food truck show up at my house every day. Because the thing is obviously they go where the business is. And if it's just me, or if it's me and Marge, we're not going to be getting too much out of it every day. So we're going to have to pay them to show up. But I would do that. Definitely do that. Other people would buy, Ferraris and Maseratis or giant mansions. I would have a food truck show up at my house. All right. Good. That's all there is really to that. So there's just some detail in there, the green. Now, the same thing with the green. The airbrush will, I could use a paintbrush to kind of, dull that down a little bit, but I got the airbrush right here. It's loaded up, so I'm going to use the airbrush for this. The airbrush does a better job at this than the paintbrush for me. Like I can do I can do this fade much better with the airbrush than I can with the paintbrush wash. Plus, again, like we talked about the strength of the paint. The paint here is much stronger doing it this way because it's the airbrush that's actually making it transparent by putting it on in light layers. It's not that you've made the paint more transparent. You're just putting it on in more transparent layers. So, yeah, so that works really well that way with the airbrush more than anything else. How we doing? 2 minutes. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. Now I have to get this guy done. This is going to be tricky because of the little green thing down at the bottom, but we'll do it. This is much darker on the side of the building, so we're going to kind of block that corner of the green. Like that, and then I'm going to block the straight part of the green. And then fade the rest up, and we are golden. But see, with that little bit of airbrushing, you can still pick up the green there, that mossy green color, but it's not in your face. Again, could I mix up that exact green color and then just paint that in like that? Absolutely, but I was born, I was brought up watching watercolorists that like layer upon layer. And I think, even as an oil painter, I loved glazing over and over again. I really love that. So the airbrush plays into that same style. It's not the only way to do it. It is not the only way to do it. It just works for me. So there you go. All right. Let me get you a full view of this because I'm super excited because we made it all the way to the edge. Next week will be, I think we'll move up on the left-hand side there and then just come all the way back. I may, on the side, just to give it enough time to cure, I'm going to spray this with Autoborn Sealer. It's not very exciting. You're not missing much. I'm just going to put a few coats on it to protect that, the corner that we just did. And That's what we got. All right, so you guys know what to do. Hit that like and subscribe for me. Make me happy. And if you'd like to support us in a more financial way, you can become a member here on YouTube or on Patreon. You get a discount on my store, which includes all the original paintings. And you also get early access to Time Lapse Tuesday. All right, so for Steve Leahy and Open Studio and Lachlan's Eyes, through Lachlan's Eyes, I will catch you guys next time. Have a great week.